I'm just checking.
Okay, let's check that.
Way to go, Juan.
It's working.
Way to go, Juan. Dude, Juan was cutting a rug last night. Just tearing it up.
Where'd thou? Where? Where was this?
At Boots and Diamonds.
Oh, nice.
That's where that picture was that I sent
Yeah.
you guys. It's just like...
Dancing fiend.
Juan is just a dancing feet. You don't have to... There's no adjectives that are needed or adverbs that are needed. Just dancing fiend.
He is a dancing fiend.
Dancing queen.
I need to watch Footloose. It's gonna happen.
He was like doing the Footloose.
Have
Yeah.
you not seen Footloose?
Kevin Bacon.
Don't you wish your last name was Bacon?
It's a lot to live up to.
I mean, like,
It's a lot.
if you're gonna change your name,
You know that guy never ages.
yeah.
It's amazing what money can do. Or good genes.
Here's to good friends.
Can't do that.
No.
It's not yours to sell.
It's sort of an oaky afterbirth.
What was that?
She did tell me to get a beer and some cheese fries over at Eskimo Joe's.
That's very nice, lovely. I only hope you feel this way when I'm done. Because I could destroy this night in 2 seconds.
Why is that funny?
Well, I think it's a bit funny to be trying to define nothing.
Smooth as a bourbon on a summer day. Strong as a peated scotch in the winter night. This is a fair warning. The Catholic Man Show is about to begin.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side. So raise your glass. Adam Minahan here, sitting with David Niles. Juan in studio with us, controlling the cameras. We have Jimothy, Jimberly.
We try not to do that one.
Oh yeah, the Jimberly one.
Yeah, because his daughter's name's Kimberly, and like,
Yeah.
that even gets weird for me, dude. Like,
I didn't make that connection.
yeah.
We have Jim Spencer here with us
But
this evening.
Jimbo Bar Baggins. That's the one we've been for the last 10 minutes. That's what it's been. Jimbo, son of Baggins.
Welcome.
Welcome.
He's like, I wish I wasn't here.
Yeah, he's thinking like I definitely shouldn't have come.
Yeah. Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We had a great episode last week with Father Aquinas talking about temperance and appetites. If you did not get a chance to check that episode out, make sure to go back and listen to it on the Catholic Man Show.
My mom said she liked that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
My mom props.
My mom, she listens to the show.
Well, she was the first one that like commented and said, "Oh, you have those blue and orange uplights in the back. That was really nice." It was like the week that I did it, and I was like, "Wow, that is observant."
Women.
I know. It's like they are way better than us
Hilarious,
at almost
isn't it?
everything.
We will do that like when we change something in the house, especially if it's when the girls are not around.
Mm-hmm.
Pamela and I will decide or take bets on who's going to notice first among the girls. You know?
Which one normally does?
Sometimes it's Bernadette.
Really?
Yeah. So when we put the cross in our living room,
Mm-hmm.
it was Elizabeth, but it's it's pretty well crucifix. Yeah, it's pretty well distributed. I mean, it's
Nice.
equal opportunity.
Let's try this whiskey.
Okay.
This scotch.
So we're having Auchentoshan.
Auchentoshan 12. They used to...
No, Auchentoshan.
Auchentoshan 12.
You said Auchentoshan.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
Auchentoshan 12.
Auchentoshan 12. This is, Adam, did you know you're holding one of the only triple distilled single malt Scotch whiskeys? Not the only,
But
one of the only.
Hmm.
I don't know how many there are, but that's what it says on the box.
Nice. Well, this 12 is the one that replaced their 10-year. So this is their staple. I haven't had this before, and I really was interested in trying it because it has going to have a sherry taste to it, but it also has from First Fill. Careful, bro.
There's a microphone down there. I just kicked it over.
Also from First Fill bourbon barrels. So I was interested to try it. What were your thoughts?
I have a cold.
Okay.
So that is needs to be thrown out there. Yeah. I was a little underwhelmed just right off the bat. Finish I on the short side of medium.
Okay.
For me, but I would like somebody whose senses are not
prohibited as much. So the tasting notes that the chaps at Master of Malt give, the nose is a cereal sweet nose with notes of guava, mango, and a drizzle of honey. Oaky, the palate says oaky and sweet palate, barley sugar, a little passion fruit, vanilla custard as well. Perhaps some rose petal jelly in there. Perhaps some rose petal jelly. I have no idea what rose petal jelly is.
They made that up.
I have no idea if that's even a thing.
After the show, I'm going to Google it.
Okay.
And there's no way there's rose petal jelly.
No. And then the finish, it says a lengthy, dry, oaky finish with barley sweetness and cocoa powder.
I'm going to start making up like all kinds of jelly.
What did you think, Jim? Did you like it? It's too sweet for you. Juan, what about you?
I liked it.
You don't think it's yummy, Jim?
It doesn't hit the yummy scale.
Oh, not on the yummy scale. Goes down real easy. So, like the thing is, a scotch like this, scotches in general, there's going to be somebody out there who likes it, so this particular one is not.
It's very Glenmorangie.
Yeah.
Glenmorangie.
Yeah. So if you're
La Santa, it tastes like the La Santa is what it tastes like.
Yeah, I agree. But if you don't like
good.
the aggressive, the Islas and the smoky and peaty ones, give it a shot. How much was it? Like $70
$60.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be good. I'll be interested as we go.
Pretty standard.
So I'm trying my best to get out into the woods soon. It's just 1 weekend after another. It's just booked.
This is not figurative. You mean literally? You
like literally
trying out into the woods?
Yeah,
okay.
trying to get out of town and get the boys out, and it's like just weekend after weekend is booked, and so we're like, man, it'll be 2 months before we can get out.
Yeah.
And so Luke is going to be doing his first fishing tournament this Sunday. He's not aware that this is happening yet.
Oh wow!
And so he's going down to my father-in-law's this week to go fishing.
Like during the week?
During the week,
okay.
Yes. We homeschool, so we can.
You can do whatever you want.
We can
I know.
we can do school wherever.
Yeah.
So.
And today school is fishing.
Yeah.
And if a man can't fish,
yeah,
I don't even know.
Right. And so we watch today. We don't. Our kids don't really ever watch TV, but when they do, they typically want to watch fishing shows or hunting shows or something like that.
It's just so funny.
Very rarely ever suggest want to have watch cartoons or something like that.
Yeah.
So today we watched the 2021 Bassmasters tournament, and they were they weren't feeling well today, and so we were trying to keep them from running around. So we'll watch this, and they for 2 hours just sat there and watched this, and they were starting to figure out what lures to use, and they're sitting there talking about it, all this stuff, and I just found it really interesting. So that they were that enamored with. I would have never been at 7 or 8 years old watching Bassmasters. I just wouldn't have been. But
me either. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can get into stuff,
sure.
when you're a kid.
I just haven't. So anyway, he's going to what's called a Rising Stars fishing tournament.
Yeah.
On this weekend at 10 Killer Lake, and we went to Bass Pro this week. Got him some new lures. He is just
he's ready.
He is going to be.
But he doesn't even know.
He doesn't know. Well, he has one, but he doesn't know what date. He didn't know that it's this coming weekend.
When are you going to tell him?
Probably
the night before.
Probably the night before or something like that. Because if it rains or something happens or he's not very well behaved all week or something like that, you just don't want to ruin it for him. or him ruin it for himself. Really, is a better way to.
Depending on the behavior, then you could say, you know what? There was a fishing tournament.
Right. I just don't want that. So we're waiting.
In fact, if you needed to, you could like in a moment of discipline, you could always just make up a fishing tournament that they don't get to go to now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Parent ethics.
I'm just saying something that could be done.
Anyway, I'm really excited to see how that goes, and
maybe you shouldn't do it, but you could do it.
We'll see. Next week I'll let you guys know. But
yeah,
it'll be fun to see.
I'll pray for my godson that he wins.
Yes, through St. Peter. I don't know. Do you pray for the apostles? Weren't really that great at fishing. It seems like in the Bible. Every time that they had empty nets and they needed Jesus to feed them, and
I think St. James is the patron of.
St. James is patron of fishermen. I don't know.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
But after I'm done checking out the rose petal jelly, I'll look into that.
Yeah. They just didn't seem like they were very good fishermen. Every time in the Bible, they're talking about how they were up all night fishing and they
haven't caught anything. There's no way I would keep throwing the net. It's midnight. You know what, guys? We struck out.
We're going to bed.
Let's go to bed.
Right.
It's like Peter must have been very stubborn. Like, no, I'm not leaving this boat.
Man, it is.
I could kind of see that, actually, him being stubborn like that. So obviously I have a cold. I've been walking around the house all day using my movie announcer voice.
Yes, I know you love doing that with your cold.
So I'd be sitting there at the table.
He loves doing this.
We're all eating dinner, and I'd be like, in a world where Mary is trying to finish the last bites of her chicken nuggets. We didn't have chicken nuggets today, but that's just like in a world, you just whatever happens, you just say that,
right?
And then you narrate whatever is going on.
Yeah.
Her mom is getting really fed up.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, and
I'm not available for hire. I know that's what everybody's thinking.
For a voiceover work. Hey, I also want to give a shout out to Juan this weekend. He was cutting a rug. He was dancing like a madman out there on the dance floor this weekend.
I've seen him dance. I mean,
my sister's
thing of beauty.
We celebrated my sister's birthday. It was a couple weeks ago, but she came into town. We did this, and this is what she wanted to do. And so I've hit my dancing bar quota for the year. I've gone twice in 2 months. I normally go twice every 5 years or something like that. But Juan was out there dancing just like a fool, and he was like, "Hey, is it okay if I go dance with Haley?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "I'll go dance with Joan." And so we're out there dancing, and Joan walks off the bar, off the dance floor, and goes, "Man, Adam, every time when I'm dancing with you, I sure do feel white." And I go, "Well, thanks, Joan. I appreciate that."
Yeah. Oh, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It's me.
We'll be right back. And you know what? She really wasn't trying to I could tell afterwards she realized I wasn't trying to put you down, but it was I get it. It's okay. It's all right. Juan's a better dancer than me.
Yeah. But only because he's brown.
No, it's just he is.
Well, that's what he says.
Well, I think that it's more. He's had more experience, and then he also has no problems just giving it all.
Oh yeah.
He dances like nobody's watching.
That is the true statement.
Yeah. But he knows really everybody's watching.
He yearns.
Yeah.
For everybody to be watching.
I do like to.
The secret about dancing is that
you have to be confident.
Yeah, just be confident with it.
In fact, I like that when we go to a wedding or something and nobody's really dancing. I'll take Pamela out there because I can put on one really good dance. I've got enough moves. You can combo it up in different ways for a solid song. People are gonna be like, "Wow, look at that."
Yeah.
And if they don't pay attention too closely, the next song they're like, "Yeah, God, there's just really, he just really throws it all together."
Right.
But it's just it's sort of like once you learn a scale.
Right.
You learn a blues scale. It's these 5 notes
are
you're going to repeat over and over and over again. But it just sounds cool, and it always keeps sounding cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've had those moments where it's like, Pamela, everybody's watching us.
It's time.
Really, they're watching you, and so am I.
Yeah. Is it St. Andrew? The patron saint of fishermen? Seems like Peter should be the patron saint.
Peter's on the list there.
Seems like St. Peter should be. I mean, it just...
There's apparently a lot of them.
That would make sense as well. All right, let's keep rolling.
I'm ready. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles here with Adam Minahan. We got Jimbo Baggins, Juan Posada in the house. I was worried Jim wasn't going to come today. Like,
I was too. I actually kind of...
We're feeling a little sluggish, and I was like, man, if somebody breaks in today, I'm just probably going to let him take all our stuff. I mean, so I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Just take it.
You went through all the trouble to get here. Like, you can have it, man. Just whatever. I just want to go home.
So
that was only if they came. I'm really excited to be here, Adam.
Yes. I'm glad you are.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're talking about our man. This is our man gear. Are you going to say something?
Yeah, I had an update for you.
Oh, please.
Something that,
Sorry.
I try to update you every once in a while. Typically on the show.
Yeah, I know it is. You like to do this.
This is like an opportunity.
Oh, by the way.
Let
me tell you something that you're obligated to do.
Yeah. Next week, you're speaking at the...
Right. It's across the country.
Right. No, our Pat Flynn course that we're doing.
It's coming together.
Or that Pat Flynn is doing.
Pat Flynn is doing, right.
But we're doing it for our patrons.
He's doing it for our patrons.
He is doing it for our patrons. It is going to be launched in about 2 weeks, roughly.
May. We're looking at May.
Yeah, mid-May. It's 5 courses talking about the philosophy behind nutrition, behind fitness, and then like how to utilize kettlebells in a way that's not going to hurt you.
Yeah. I like getting his opinions. Nutrition is one of those things that, like, of all the science, there's good evidence for a lot of stuff, but there's not a definitive answer. People are different, different kinds of ways of being in fit. Like, he's fit in a regular way. Like, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to be I don't care about that kind of fitness, know, but he's like good, regular dude fit.
Right. And so he's gonna give a breakdown of basically why it's important for us as Catholic men to be fit, to take care of our bodies, and then also how to do it. So if you've never been taught, when you walk into a gym, if you've never had like a personal trainer or you've never had a coach,
super
intimidating.
Intimidating, that's the word.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
It's like all these different machines. You don't really know how to utilize them. You don't want to look like a fool.
And you will if you don't know.
Right. And you could actually really get hurt, right?
Sure.
Is you could end up really hurting yourself.
Definitely.
And so Pat's going to go through and give you kind of a step-by-step on how to utilize this. And so mid-May is when we're going to be launching this. It's a 5-course series. We're really excited about that.
Patreon.com.
Patreon.com.
/ The Catholic Man Show.
And they're also, like, as we continue going throughout the year, we're going to have videos on, like, for instance, I'm hoping to have a video on how to carve a turkey well.
Yes, we've wanted to do this for a long time because I just want to know. Even if I get a chicken breast just at dinner, the only way that it gets into my mouth is just by mutilating the whole. I mean, it's like I just kind of start hacking at it, and I have success. And there's a bone there.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, like, oh, by the way, here's how you do it. So
you don't look like anything.
And it goes well. So it goes well.
And the ethics of being able to utilize the meat to its fullest potential.
I know. Because you
don't waste it.
It's not cool to pick up the bones and like start gnawing on them at the table.
Right. So anyway,
not good.
There's other things that we're doing on Patreon. If you guys want to go check that out.
Okay.
Support the show.
So, patreon.com / The Catholic Man Show. Man gear today is Walkie-talkie. talking about being excommunicated.
I thought you were going to do an axe.
Ah.
That would have been
good too. Have we not done an axe? I think we've done an axe.
I'm sure we have.
We've done an axe. Walkie-talkies.
Getting the axe.
Everybody, not everybody, I think everybody liked playing with walkie-talkies.
Growing up, sure.
Depending on how old you are. If you're really old, then it was the can and the string, which is also still cool. I just want to say that.
I agree.
The can and the string is still cool. Because it works. It's like awesome. But
it's a great science project for homeschoolers.
Yeah. Especially if you have like somebody who lives next door to you, who you're friends with, and your windows face each other. Right.
Yes.
String it out.
Right.
Anyway, walkie-talkies are very awesome. They've come a long way since we were kids. In fact, Adam, we have a walkie-talkie story. I don't know if you remember this. When we went to Michigan, when you came with us in first grade, our dads rented some walkie-talkies for the car ride up there. They were,
because this is pre-cell phones, right?
They were about the size of this whiskey box,
right?
Okay, with a big antenna that came out. But we were in the car, and if you didn't pull the antenna out, they didn't really work very well. So our dads got these big magnet antenna,
the CB radio antennas.
Yeah, they magneted to the top of our vans as we were driving down the road. And I remember it was awesome.
I totally forgot about this.
Because this is circa 1991, 92,
I totally forgot about that.
Cell phones, I don't know, maybe bag phones were a thing. I don't know, but it was awesome because you couldn't, if you're caravanning, because it's 1,000 miles. If you have to
because we were driving from Tulsa up to northern Michigan.
Right, if you're in the back, if you're not the car in front and somebody has to stop to go to the bathroom and you're following the person in front,
right?
How do you signal? So having the walkie-talkies, it's just awesome. And
of course, our dads being our dads,
I think
at one point my mom said, I know, picture us
doing this back then,
right.
Bro,
yeah,
I got some walkie-talkies.
Totally abusing
it. Check these bad boys out.
Right, totally abusing it. I think at one point my mom was like, "Okay, Tim, you're gonna have to turn that off for just a little bit." Or I think she took it away from him and said I'm in charge of this.
We had code names. I don't remember what they were, but one car was,
right.
Of course we had code names.
Of course we did. Yeah.
But the walkie-talkies of today are not the same. These days, there's technology built into them.
Because I think we went if we were half a mile apart or even less, maybe it was.
Oh, half a mile would have been way pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, we basically had to be right beside each other.
It was 100 yards.
Right.
They would work fine, and we're following each other on the highway, so we did never really get that far apart. But,
right, it was just really funny.
Yeah,
because now walkie-talkies, you can go miles and miles.
Right, and we had all these AA batteries in the car because they'd last for 5 hours or something. I need 10 more AA's. Anyway, the walkie-talkies you can get today, man, they're just crazy. In fact, as I was researching about walkie-talkies, I was thinking, when your kids turn 16, they don't need a cell phone. Give them a walkie-talkie. If they're driving around in town, you can get a walkie-talkie. They're expensive if you want to get one that goes far, like $350. That's what you're looking at. But a cell phone might be $300. Or $1,000 or $2,000, right? Because if there's your 16-year-old, they want the good one, right? They don't want the flip phone, right? So you could give them a $350 walkie-talkie. And, get a hold of them anywhere all the time.
It's so embarrassing.
Exactly. It would be the worst.
It would be so embarrassing. But because there's no mute button, there's no...
Right.
It's a speakerphone constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can put it... They have, headset plug-ins. You could definitely do them on a headset. But you can't call your girlfriend.
Right.
You can call mom.
Yeah.
That's it. But... a sweet set of walkie-talkies is awesome to have. When you go camping or hiking or fishing.
Hunting.
Yeah. Oh, big time hunting. Yeah. Because if you're in one blind and somebody else in another one, you hear a gun, it's hey, was that you? Right. Because very, very likely there's no cell phone reception
Right.
Sometimes there is. Sadly.
You hope that there's not. Yeah.
Honestly, I get mad. It's like, I have 4G out here. Where are we? There's a tower out here?
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like, I have 4G here, but not in my backyard.
Right. How does that
You're
work?
like, what is up?
Yes. No,
actually, I have Verizon, and they're awesome. Like, they really are. Verizon is not paying us, but they could if they wanted to.
I actually am in the market for getting, like, I will be getting some nice walkie-talkies soon with, my boys going out hunting and things like that soon. That'll be something that I will need to get. So you said like $350 will give her like a 30-mile radius?
Yeah, about 30 miles.
Wow. I didn't realize.
So, and that's for like, it's a radio wave. It's a walkie-talkie is a radio wave. So FM radio is line of sight. So the distance you're going to get in town is
much different.
Significantly different.
And if
it goes like 30 miles, like from the top of a mountain to the bottom of a mountain, that's a big mountain, I know, but like hypothetically, you're not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you'd get 10 miles in the city, right? Because you've got buildings and stuff.
Sure.
That's
or
all.
If you're in Kansas,
right?
Then
I mean, if you're just
a long
like
way, you could go.
Right.
You can max it out.
Yeah.
That's actually where they do the walkie-talkie test runs.
Yeah, but the wind, bro.
All right. Yeah.
The wind. So then they have different types of walkie-talkies. So they have others that just use different technology. Mm-hmm. It's like maybe more like shortwave radio, and those can go 1,000 miles.
Have you ever wanted to do like ham radio?
No.
I've kind of wanted to do it.
Why?
Just to learn.
I know that people
as a leisure.
People get like way into it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thing is. I've never wanted to do it because I don't even know what it is you do. When you say
broadcast, you can broadcast from it.
Broadcast what?
Whatever you want, like the Catholic Man Show.
Is anybody listening?
No.
Right. And it costs a lot of money.
I mean, is anybody listening to this? No.
Some people are.
But
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, when communication fails.
Right. Exactly. Also, if you're a prepper and you don't have, if all you have is like the $20 Motorola, Motorola really dominates. There's other brands, but Motorola, they have the walkie-talkie game locked down.
Okay.
Elizabeth has a kid Motorola walkie-talkie set that goes like a mile.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
So when we get back, we're going to talk about how not to get excommunicated.
Yes. Or if you want to get excommunicated, how to do that.
Poor decision on your part.
Bad choices.
We'll be right back. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Indeed. Or as my cousin Jimmy says, bad decisions make the best stories.
They do make great stories.
He has a lot of really good stories. I will tell you. My cousin Jimmy, of all the people I know, he absolutely has the best stories. Well, he's the one whose garage has a website.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Are you needing something, Jim? You want some more? You
One time
came over to me like you were needing something.
One time my cousin Jimmy, when he was a bachelor living in Chicago, decided he was going to have a Halloween party, except he wasn't going to invite anyone he knew. He literally made flyers and put them out in public places. And costumes were required. And he made a video putting it out on Facebook. It's the creepy. He has a clown suit. And so it was just him staring into the slowly, one by one, putting on his costume, the nose. It was with some
weird
kind of
music
scary
to it.
Music in the background, right? Yeah,
it's crazy. He's related,
and he said it was packed. He had to stop people from coming in,
and he didn't know any of them.
He knew nobody. He said it was awesome. That's what he said. It was yeah, Jim. I'm glad you didn't get killed.
Yeah, or your stuff stolen.
Right? Yeah, you still had a couch.
Yeah. All right,
I think he did probably lose some stuff that night, but I think he kind of knew that.
Yeah, going into that.
Going in, yeah.
And really quick, we have a St. Joseph procession next Saturday.
Oh, do we?
For the feast day of St. Joseph the Worker, I think, at Holy Family. So just wanted to invite everybody.
Beautimus.
Mass at 10, procession to follow.
Mass at 10.
Holy Family Cathedral.
That's a Kathy pour right there. In a world where Jim is drinking a lot of whiskey. He did that, Jim. I didn't do that.
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to
No.
So that's his fault.
Sounds like he's taking responsibility.
He needs to.
He's walking home. Is what he's doing. It's like 4-mile walk.
That'd be
maybe 5.
lines on your streets now, so I can navigate here.
That's true. All right, let's get going. Let's get serious.
Tyler says, sorry, did you say something? I wasn't listening. I didn't copy that over.
Oh, who is this? Taylor who?
Taylor McKee.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Well, Tyler, if you want to come to Tulsa, you can do the St. Joseph.
No, he was talking about our
walkie-talkie
story.
Walkie-talkie.
Copy that over.
I thought he was just talking about what we just said in a walkie-talkie
Come
way.
on.
I didn't know. I can't see the timestamp.
I can't either, but I can just deduce.
Well, I'm glad you're here then. I don't know what else to say.
All right, let's keep going. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. Sipping a little scotch, just got done talking about walkie-talkies, and now we're going to discuss how not to get excommunicated, something that is very important
in a
to know.
Where people are making bad decisions.
You just had to do that.
Pope Francis is excommunicating them.
I think excommunication is something that is misunderstood by a lot of people.
But also, like, awesome. Like, there's... Not that we like it when people get excommunicated.
Right.
But, like, there's something like... There's, like, man...
It's a mercy.
It is a mercy. But it's also, if you know, like, when people are being... the fact that people get excommunicated lets you know that there is order in the world. Like, there's just something actually kind of reassuring that the church has this discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not we don't rejoice, or I'm not reassured that other people are being excommunicated. That's not reassuring to me. But that the church has a discipline like this that
has
says
the power to bind and loose.
Yeah, well, and that she exercises
Can
it.
exercise it, sure.
For the benefit of the faithful is I think reassuring.
And we see even in the Bible with Saint Paul, whenever he was talking with the Corinthians, the guy who was like
he's sleeping with his mom or something,
his stepmom, basically, and so he basically said, like, listen, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, he told him to shun the dude.
Right, and then what happened? The dude repented. And then Paul said he is one of receive him with open arms.
Right.
And that's the whole purpose of excommunication, right? It's to show the severity of what the action is that the person is doing,
right,
in the body of Christ, and it's
so that their life it shares the reality. Their outward life shares the reality of their spiritual life, because spiritually they have removed themselves from the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order that they might come to know that, they are physically removed from the church in a public way,
because it has to be a public sin,
yeah.
right? It has to be listen,
it does not have to be a public sin.
I'm not a canon lawyer, but
no, not all. There's 2 types of excommunication.
Okay.
There's formal and informal. So the formal one is called ferende sententia, which just means, it's Latin for the sentence to be passed. It's also ad homine is another word to say it, because it comes from the man, ab homine. The informal one is late sententia, which just means of the sentence already passed. Okay, so we would call that one an automatic excommunication. So these days, there are very, 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 very few formal excommunications. I mean, that just doesn't, because that comes from, it can come from bishops, your local bishop.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't happen very often, But automatic excommunication, there's all kinds of things that incur an automatic excommunication. Things like procuring an abortion. I mean, there are Catholics. I mean, I don't know how many. I'm assuming thousands a day, who fall into that category. There's certainly a large number of them. So there's all kinds of things that incur this latae sententia, the automatic excommunication.
Okay.
And so, but both, like we said, are there as a mercy. They're there actually as a form of charity.
Because justice and justice and mercy are, go hand in hand, and a lot of times with justice and mercy breeds, charity. Or charity breeds justice and mercy. So you have to, have both. It's not like one or the other.
Yeah,
it's kind of like social. When we say social justice, that's a redundant term.
Yeah,
justice is
always social.
Served in the justice form.
Yeah, Aquinas has a good quote about justice without mercy is like it's not what I can't remember what it is, but like if you Google it, it's really good. So this really is a mercy because without it, the people who are falling under this penalty might just continue with their lives, and very likely, or they could die in this state of unrepentantness, if that's a word. You know what I mean. So the excommunication is a very effective, because it is often public. Less often these days. It was the idea behind it that it would be public.
I thought it had to be a public sin.
Well,
I'm pretty positive that is true.
No, because one thing that's a very, very what we'll get to is, like, let's say a priest breaks the 6th commandment with a woman, commits adultery. If he will not be excommunicated for that. However, if he hears her confession of that sin that he committed with her,
that's an automatic excommunication.
He is automatically excommunicated.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's definitely nothing public
about that.
So it does not have to be public. And I would say abortion is also not a public act. It's private by nature. You're not doing it in front of other people. It's there's confidentiality.
Sure.
So originally, when you were excommunicated, the idea is that you were to be shunned.
And reshun.
Unshun. So there was at the Council of Rome in 1079, the Pope Gregory VII at the time, he made exceptions, because there was no exceptions until he did this, for family members. So the person who was excommunicated was to be shunned, but he said, all right, well, the spouse of the person excommunicated doesn't have to shun them. The mother, the children, even the servants don't have to, of this person, they don't have to shun them. Or if you have to if there's just something that like forces you to communicate with them, you may.
Okay.
But other than that,
our good friend, one of our good friends just texted me and let me know that it has to do with the denial of Holy Communion. Has to be a public sin, not a private sin.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was.
That it's caused scandal.
Right. That's where I apologize. I knew I had read something a while back. There's also a really good book by Dr. Edward Peters. I believe he's a doctor. He's a canon lawyer. He's on Twitter as well, but he has a whole book on excommunication. So if this is something that you want to learn about, if you're a canon lawyer or considering to become a canon lawyer, he has a really good book on it.
I don't know that the whole denial of communion, I don't know that necessarily means the person is excommunicated. So like, for instance, if a couple's living together, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into that because I'm not brushed up on what would be right and wrong for a priest to deny someone communion. But so that was Pope Gregory. He did that in 1079.
Okay. 400
years later, in 1418, Pope Martin V, he drew a distinction between excommunicated persons. Okay, so this is where we're getting to what we call the
formal and
tolerati, those who are tolerated. Not so. This is the first time he said that no, some people are excommunicated, but they're not shunned.
Okay.
Which is apart from the Vitandi. The former was tolerated and the latter was to be shunned. The last time I could find somebody, this is the most recent case where I could find someone who was excommunicated, vitandus or vitandi, same thing, depends on like how you're conjugating the word, right? Was in 1950. Anti-Pope Michael Collin.
Pope Michael?
No, this is 1950.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's
totally different dude.
Yeah.
But he was of the Sedevacantis group, Apostles of Infinite Love. That's what they called themselves. He announced that he had taken the name Clement the 15th. This Michael Collin, he was a priest, and so Pope Pius XII laicized him in 1951 and publicly declared him by name a Vitandus Excommunicate. So, like, that's the most recent one I could find of someone. Like, not only
did he repent before he died?
I don't know.
Man,
the Wikipedia page didn't say.
Yeah, I hope he did.
I also really hope he did.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, like it just doesn't happen very often. Because this is not just a formal excommunication. So that would have been
I don't think we've even like defined what excommunication is. We kind of jumped into two types of excommunication.
Yeah, you're right. So an excommunication, when you're excommunicated, whether automatically or formally, you are removed from the church. You are not allowed to take part in the sacraments or in the liturgy. You're not even really supposed to go into the church. You are removed from the communion. You are not. I didn't realize that. Yeah, so it's like you are not.
I did not realize that.
It's not like you're unbaptized.
I thought that you just could not partake in the sacraments any longer.
You are not supposed to attend.
Wow.
So it's not like, I go and I don't receive communion. No, you're actually not allowed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how serious it is. I mean, it's meant so that it is prescriptive. Like it's supposed to be medicine. It's supposed to be difficult, and certainly in times gone by, it was much more difficult when the church was really the center of the culture in Western society anyway. Where if you were removed from the church, you almost couldn't buy and sell things. Like it was a very, very severe. It's the worst thing that could happen to you. It'd be better to die than to be excommunicated. Back in the day, a lot of people wouldn't feel that way now.
Right. And there's not a lot of excommunications that are happening right now.
Mercy without justice is the mother of all dissolution. Justice without mercy is cruelty. St. Thomas Aquinas. Way to go, Juan. He found it on the internets. All right, when we get back, we're going to keep talking about excommunication. We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
Sweet. Let's keep rolling. Is there something you want to...
Yeah, this is the last one, so is there anything you want to get to?
We definitely have to get to punching the Pope.
Okay. Things that automatically...
That is the best one, because of all of these things, the formal and the informal, there are only 5 that are reserved, what they call reserved, where only...
Just tell us in the show.
Okay. Well, I was just telling you that's what I want to get to.
Okay.
But among these 5, punching the Pope stands out even higher. Punching the Pope is the worst thing that you can do. Do not, under any circumstances, ever punch him. Or even, like, use force against him. We'll talk about it. Oh, it's the worst. It's a quick way to hell if you ever punch the Pope.
Without repenting.
Yeah, and you better hope he's... What if he says no when you
That's on him.
repent? You're right. But what if? But the thing is, Jesus said you have the power to bind and loose. What if he says no? It's problema.
Es
problema.
Es problema.
Es problema majore. In a world where we still have a lot to say about excommunication, there is only one segment left. You're just jealous. You're just jealous that you don't have a cold and that you can't do it too.
Even if I had a cold, I couldn't do it.
I see the jealousy in your eyes. Adam, your eyes, they give you away. I see right through you. I
guess I can't hide these lion eyes.
Okay, so let's get into like some examples of excommunication.
Okay.
Right? Because excommunication removes you from the church. Like,
this is something you don't want to do.
Yeah, and all of these things involve presumably mortal sin. You know, we don't know that it's mortal sin, but it's certainly grave. It's a grave matter, right? Under circumstances where the persons involved should know better. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, like, these are things that would be a formal excommunication. If you do these things, you won't be automatically excommunicated, but there would be a trial. And then they actually have, like, a ceremony where they declare you anathema. It's epic.
Like Beckett, that movie Beckett.
Yes, exactly. Like, and it's, like, so awesome. Yeah. You know, like, it's sad that, but also you're, like, joyful that maybe the person will return.
Right.
But the ceremony, they have the ceremony with, like, monks and robes and candles, right? It's like... Right. Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow, that dude just got excommunicated. So if a person, if you...
I don't think sweet's the right word.
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah. Like, it's epic. So if a person tries to celebrate the Mass without being a priest, you could be formally excommunicated. If you hear a confession or try to absolve someone without being able to absolve someone, you could be excommunicated formally. If you break the seal of confession indirectly or directly. So there are more than just priests are bound by the seal of confession. I did not know this. Did you know if you're standing in line to go to confession and you overhear what somebody says, that you too are bound by the seal of confession? And if
Isn't that the worst?
If you say something, if you tell somebody, you could be formally excommunicated.
Isn't it the worst though, being in line and like you're trying your best?
I hate it. I panic.
Oh, I panic too, dude.
And
I start humming.
I'll sing. That's what I do. I sing something in my head really loud.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I'm usually in that moment trying to like wrap up my
your own examination
of conscience. Yeah. And now I can't because like the dude in front of me like is hard of hearing and is shouting at the priest, you know.
Right. Man, like priest, like please, like have like
it just makes me want to go, ah!
Yeah, when they have those little sound machines out there, or they have like they play like classical music or
like I want priests now to know this. When I get old, or if something happens, like if I use a jackhammer too much in all the manly stuff I do,
right,
and I get hard of hearing young,
right,
I want you to stop me. Like if I'm being loud, please like stop. So tell me to be quieter. I want to know.
I'm right next to you. You don't need to yell.
Okay, so yeah,
it is the worst though.
But you're bound in that circumstance. The seal of confession.
Wow.
Oh, interpreters. Some people need interpreters to go to confession in certain circumstances. So the interpreter is allowed but they would be bound under the seal of confession.
I've had one of my kids go into confession with me before when they were young. Mm-hmm. Not that they would remember it at this point.
Pamela does that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like Mom 101. All the moms who are listening, they're like, pfft.
Yeah.
All
right. Do that.
Yeah. I've done it 1,000 times.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, someone who breaks penal law, allowing an excommunication to be enacted on a local level, we'll skip that one because that's actually about bishops who excommunicate people who shouldn't be. If you omit stubbornly, as an Eastern Catholic priest, the commemoration of the hierarchy in the divine liturgy and in the divine praises, you could be formally excommunicated. I don't get that one. But these
David Bates, that's on you.
But if you stubbornly do it, if it's an accident, it's no big deal. But if you say no,
we're relying on David Bates. Just make sure that all happens.
If you commit violence against a patriarch or a metropolitan, if you incite sedition against the hierarchy, if you commit murder as an Eastern Catholic. So that one only applies to Eastern Catholics. Latin Rite people, we can murder people without fear of formal excommunication. You might go to hell all the same, right? But for them, if you kidnap, wound, or seriously mutilate or torture people, also only for Eastern Catholics.
What?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. The rest of them are only for Eastern Catholics, and they get kind of funny. But those
Not
are
funny.
It's like you need excommunication to like keep. I don't know. It's like, why is it? The funny part is that it's like only for Eastern Catholics.
Yes.
You know, it's like Latin Rite people. You get a pass. No worries. It's totally cool. Okay, so those are formal excommunication, automatic excommunication, or latae sententia.
So this is like you do it; it's
automatic. So if you
the bishop doesn't have to say it or anything,
it is automatic, ipso facto.
Okay.
If you are a heretic, schismatic, or an apostate, automatically excommunicated. If you desecrate the Eucharist, a person who physically attacks the Pope, automatically excommunicated. A priest who in confession absolves a partner with whom they have violated the sixth commandment.
Wait.
So we mentioned that one.
Uh-huh.
A bishop who consecrates another bishop without a papal mandate. So think of Lefebvre. He was automatically excommunicated for that because he shouldn't have done it. A priest.
Obedience is key, guys.
Right. Yeah. Like you can't. Yeah. That's not the way to get bishops. A priest who violates the seal of confession is automatically communicated. So if you overheard someone, you're not automatically excommunicated, but if a priest does it, he's automatically excommunicated. A person who procures an abortion, accomplices who are needed to commit an action that has an automatic excommunication penalty. So that means if you drive someone to have an abortion, or if you help someone punch the Pope, or other things, if you assist on purpose.
I guess if you scheme,
if you're a schemer. So there's been some abuses of excommunication. I just want to share one with you, Adam.
Okay.
In 1304, a bishop by the name of John Dalderby, Bishop of Lincoln, that's in England.
Not Nebraska.
Not Nebraska. Excommunicated all those persons in the town of Newport Pagnell who knew the whereabouts of Sir Gerald Salvain's wayward falcon and failed to return it. You're all excommunicated. Every last one of you.
Were falcons super important at that?
I don't know, but Sir Gerald Salvain, obviously a friend of Bishop John Dalderby, wanted his falcon back and knew that those scoundrels over in Newport knew where it was, and they were
call some favors. I can pull some strings.
You know what? I'll excommunicate him. That'll teach him. I hereby declare anathema all those who know the whereabouts of the falcon and keeping it to themselves.
Oh,
okay.
Man, that's hilarious.
So, what I really want to get to is there are 5. Really, there's 7, but there are 5 in canon law. 2 more have been added since. Things
appropriate, like motu proprio. Is that what that's called? Whenever they've been added.
I don't know.
Motu proprio.
Don't ask me hard questions, okay?
Sorry.
I forget.
I just want to take this moment to say I apologize.
Okay, so these 5 things. A lot of those things, like abortion. If you committed abortion, you used to have to go to confession to the bishop.
Right.
You could not receive absolution unless now that has been delegated to every pastor. Priests.
Wasn't that because Pope Francis, the year of mercy?
No, I think it was before that. I think it was actually John Paul II who did that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that to be sure, but I think it was before. So anyway,
okay.
These things, only the Pope can lift the excommunication. You have to formally solicit Rome to have this excommunication lifted. So if a person who throws away the consecrated species or takes or retains them for sacrilegious purposes, they are automatically excommunication. And these are all excommunications that are reserved. So if you're doing that to commit...
Dude, one of our good friends, Jim Finster, the Finster, he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning every morning in reparation for those who commit acts against the Eucharist.
I'm trying to get him to move to Tulsa,
I know, I really want him to. That is epic. Because 3 a.m. is actually the time that they typically do the Black Mass, it's
the inverted...
3 p.m. of Divine Mercy.
Right, because Jesus died on the cross at 3 p.m.
Right, so he gets up at 3 a.m. to say prayers.
And he's like, take that, Satan.
Yeah.
What?
That is epic.
What? I dare you to punch me.
Jim is the best.
He's over there Satan, punch me. It'll be salvific.
Yeah. The Finster is awesome.
Okay, number 2, a person who uses physical force against the Roman pontiff. Look, let me just tell you, do not, under any circumstances, punch the Pope.
You've already told me this.
But of all of these, it stands out because that is the only one of the list that is a vitandus excommunication. So all of these 5, or all of everything on this list is you're not to be shunned. However, if you hit the Pope, not only can he alone lift it, you're also to be like the faithful would commit, like, I don't know if it's a sin, but they would be doing something. They'd be certainly being disobedient to the laws of the canon law and to Mother Church if they didn't shun you. Okay, so like, also the Pope's in Rome. There's a lot of Catholics in Rome. Okay, so like, nobody will talk to you. Maybe like some tourists from weird parts of the world or something. I don't know, but so definitely
don't do that.
No matter what he does, don't punch the Pope. Okay, a priest who acts against the prescript.
Not going to do it.
A priest who acts against the look up 977 in here.
Okay.
Because this one is a priest who acts against the prescript of canon 977. Oh, that is where if you commit
the absolution of the we already discussed
the sixth commandment. If you break it, and you can't. So okay, then a bishop who consecrates another bishop. That's also on here. Only the Pope can forgive that. A confessor who directly violates the sacramental seal. And then finally, the other 2 that have been added, attempting to confer the sacrament of holy orders on a woman.
Yeah, and that's JP2. I think he instituted that.
Pope Benedict, I think.
Okay.
Violating the oath of secrecy taken during the papal conclave. But it does not. That's only for non-cardinals. So like if you're one of the housekeepers or one of the cooks and you overhear something.
Same way with seal of confession.
Exactly. Very similar. Anyway, we're going to keep talking about this a little bit more.
Okay.
We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
You're right. I think that was Benedict and not JP2. But I think JP2 brought it up.
So I have a question. Because you said that excommunication meant that you were away from the sacraments. And you couldn't enter the church. But you said that getting an abortion was excommunication.
Yeah.
So if you're excommunicated and you get an abortion, well, then you're not supposed to get the sacraments either. So how do you get reconciliation?
Well,
confession.
Confession would be. So
my question along that line is, how do you formally, from a formal excommunication, how do you come back?
Okay.
And from the informal one,
how
do you come back?
So the question is, if you're formally excommunicated, you're not supposed to be. And when I say, I should have been more clear when I said you're not supposed to enter the church. It's for you're not supposed to enter the church for liturgies. Like, it's not like you can't step foot on church property. Because it's like, otherwise, how do you even go to confession, right? But if let's say you're formally excommunicated, there is a process, and so like, let's just say it's like one of the big ones. You punched the Pope. Or like, John Paul II, he was shot. Okay, so that would also fall into this. Because really it says physical force, person who uses physical force. So like if you try to run the Pope over with your car on purpose, it wasn't an accident. You're formally excommunicated. Well, no, let's not use that because that's not a formal excommunication. That's automatic. Let's just say you're formally excommunicated. The process is that you petition Rome, that you desire reconciliation, and they will, accept that. You go before the Pope, and he absolves you of your excommunication. And so that is not the sacrament of confession. So it's not spiritual absolution. It's canonical absolution. And then from there, you go to another confessor to confess for spiritual absolution. So that's like the process for formal excommunication.
So can a bishop lift a formal?
Yes.
A bishop can
right.
Put
yes.
That formal excommunication out. Can they?
Yes, they can. Typically, the person who excommunicates you is the person who will lift your excommunication. But unless it's one of these 7 reserved excommunications, which
you don't want to do.
Honestly, I think all of these are latte sententia. I don't think any of them are formal. Latte.
I wish we had a really good friend who was a canon lawyer that we.
These are all automatic excommunication. All these reserved excommunications, they're all automatic.
If you are a canon lawyer and want to be our friend, reach out to us.
Where's Harrison when we need him?
Yeah, we know somebody.
Well,
but he's not a canon lawyer. He's just a.
He's a canon lawyer.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, he's not.
I think he's a lawyer. No, I don't. I don't think he is.
I would think that he knows a lot about canon law.
But I don't think he went to school.
I think
to study
that
canon
he's
law.
probably an enthusiast, which in his case is probably good enough.
Aficionado.
Yeah, aficionado. So that's how it would be.
We'll have him on the show sometime. I also got Bishop Conrad.
He's been on the show.
Yeah.
He was like on episode 5 or something,
15 or something.
Like,
but I wasn't there.
You said, yeah, you weren't there, and he was foundational for the show, dude. He introduced me anyway to Lefroy. That was like when we had Lefroy on the show, and I went like, what?
He may not want to be on the show anymore though. Now that he's like officially my boss.
Oh, he's not my boss. Hey, before we record, tell me all the stuff you want me to say, and I'll say it. It's fine. Can't even fire me.
No, I mean, I think that would be. So I also got Bishop Conderla.
Yeah, I know. Like, we need to get him on the show.
Talk about
he lives
domestic
like
church,
half a mile away.
I know.
He should just hang out here Sunday night.
I agree.
We're gonna get him on the show.
You didn't finish the second part of your explanation.
What's the third part of your second part?
Secunda. What is?
You said formal, now informal.
Oh,
somebody that's informal.
Yeah, so informal. For the most part, so all the unless it's one of these reserved sins, which is you desecrate the Eucharist, physical force against the Pope, a priest hearing the confession of the woman he just broke the 6th commandment with, a bishop consecrating another bishop illicitly, or a confessor breaking the seal of confession, attempting to confer holy orders on a woman, or breaking the secrecy during a papal conclave. Those are all automatic excommunications. Those that I just listed are reserved, that only the Pope. So you would still do the same thing. You would have to solicit Rome.
But a priest giving or a bishop denying communion to somebody is not the same thing as being excommunicated.
Once again, I have not looked this answer up to be sure. I can think of circumstances that don't seem to fall under the excommunication.
The criteria that you're laying out.
For instance, in all of the research I was doing, I didn't see anything about attempting marriage with a member of the same sex, which is a public act.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is by nature always a public act. That, to me, seems like something that would be a good reason to deny someone communion. If you have someone who's a member of your parish, a prominent member of your parish, who attempts marriage with a member of the same sex, that could give great scandal to your parish. If you continued to allow him, I mean, first of all, like he would have to be. It's not enough just for him to have gone to confession and repented, because the parish doesn't know that he did that, right? And so they see him receiving communion, and it's like, he just got married like on Friday to another dude, and it's Sunday, and you're letting him receive communion, like even if on Saturday he had this big conversion, because there needs to be a public decree. I mean, you have to avoid scandal in that circumstance. I think, though, pastorally, there could be room to allow him to receive, if he had repented, to allow him to receive communion in private after Mass. Something like that. but once again, I'm really shooting from the hip here.
That's dangerous.
I do it a lot. I'm still alive for now. But anyway, I mean, so I don't think, just to answer your question, I think that there is a difference between being excommunicated and being denied communion. Now, a lot of the time, the reason people like, okay, take Nancy Pelosi, someone like her should be denied communion, or even the Vice President, Joe Biden, should be denied communion.
He's actually the president, even.
You're right. You're right. He is the president. Yeah, the President Joe Biden, formerly Vice President. It's been a long night. Anyway, I apologize.
We can just say politicians.
He should be denied communion because he's pro-choice. He publicly supports and votes for legislation that promotes and enhances abortion, right? So, that's something that you should be... it's very easy to say that falls under the automatic communication. Accomplices who are needed to commit an action that is an automatic excommunication penalty. I'm not sure if you could really say he's an accomplice to an abortion. He didn't drive this person, but still, I think that actually voting for pro-choice legislation because it's pro-choice, that's the reason you're voting for it. I think it does incur an automatic excommunication. I think I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong on that. We're not canon lawyers, so we can be wrong. It's no big deal. If we're wrong, it's just well, I'm not a canon lawyer. I was just doing my best. Anyway, it's a problem. Es problema.
Es problema. Jim has something to say.
Jim wants to speak.
Well, one of our patrons is asking about the Campout. Just wanted some details.
Juan, have you had a chance to confirm this? We will confirm this maybe next week, possibly, potentially.
The Campout. Yes.
You're talking about the Campout.
Yes.
By next Sunday, we will have a date for the Campout.
Mucho dates.
We have a date. Our tentative date is the last weekend of September. The last weekend of September, which is maybe the 24th, 25th, 26th, somewhere around in there of September is what we're shooting for. Obviously, this is we have to confirm with Clear Creek Monastery. Yeah, so it's the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th of September. That's when we're shooting for. We have to clear that with the monks at Clear Creek Monastery or Clear Creek Abbey.
They're pretty chill, really, when it comes to the dates.
I think that we can get it confirmed, but I hesitate to say one way or the other without that.
We've done the Campout on maybe their second busiest weekend of the year in the past. We've held the Campout on the chant weekend.
Right.
2 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm. Last year's Campout was awesome.
It was so good. It's gotten better every year, and it didn't storm on us last year.
I think that was
a big deal.
That was a big part.
It was a departure from tradition, really.
Right. All right, let's cut it.
The Campout is so awesome.
So much fun.
I get jacked for it. Okay, Juan, shut it down.
Thank you.